Asia Wilson will cry, I'm a victim, and in the same breath turn around and say, yeah, I'm a bully, so what? I'm a bully and I'm a victim. Rules for thee and not for me. Asia Wilson, since I first started following the WNBA in 2024, every single year, there is some type of hypocrisy around Asia.
The whole world of women's basketball has just fallen into total chaos, and sports fans everywhere are completely shocked after the most embarrassing secret locker room leak in WNBA history. What was supposed to be a normal and exciting game between the league's top stars and the new rising team has now turned into a complete disaster. The Indiana Fever, led by Caitlin Clark's amazing court vision and Sophie Cunningham's cold, fearless shooting, did not just win the game. They completely and clearly destroyed, crushed, and embarrassed the Las Vegas Aces in a huge blowout that has badly hurt the team's pride forever. But the biggest disaster did not happen during the game. It happened the very second the final buzzer went off. Several league insiders have now leaked that three-time MVP Aya Wilson had a wild screaming meltdown behind closed doors, desperately trying to act like the victim to hide her own historic failure. But her desperate public image plan has now completely failed. The real truth is now out. The locker room audio has leaked, and Aya Wilson's reputation as the league's protected MVP is now being torn apart in front of millions of fans.
Because I know it's something that I can't control. When they go to that monitor, it's literally out of our hands at that point. So I really can't harp on it. I think the biggest thing is how we can continue to either keep the momentum on our side or shift the momentum the best way we can. And of course, reviews and everything is going to get in the way. But at the same time, we shouldn't even be putting ourselves in situations to have to be reviewed. Even though some calls may be a little skeptical. But I know we just got to continue to focus on us, and that's something we can't control, so we can't really harp on it.
To understand how big this disaster really was, we need to look at the clear facts of what happened on the basketball court. Caitlin Clark did not just play basketball. She completely controlled, guided, and changed every defensive move the Aces tried to make, proving once again that her basketball IQ is far ahead of everyone else in the league. Right beside her, Sophie Cunningham played with a strong, fearless, and aggressive style that completely stopped the Aces' outside defense. Together, this powerful pair broke 9 historic WNBA records in just one night, including the biggest winning margin ever against a defending champion in league history.
100%.
Particularly you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, particularly me. All NBA players go harder on white boys on the court. That's just how it's always.
Like
even Larry Bird. Larry
rule.
Bird got guarded by a white guy. He was like, y'all don't have any brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Larry Bird said.
He felt disrespected.
Yeah, he felt disrespected.
I feel like that's like the unwritten Hooper rule. So no, I was laughing. I was like, it's never that deep. It's never that deep. But
Yeah. How weird. It's never that deep. So it's the unwritten rule to go after white players harder than you go after everybody else. And it's never that deep. Yet Asia Wilson has made it that deep. Take a look over here.
Us as black women, age reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how.
The Las Vegas Aces, who had spent years being praised and protected by the main sports media as a team nobody could touch, looked very slow, tired, and completely helpless. Every time Aya Wilson tried to take control near the basket, she ran into a strong wall of defensive changes led by Caitlin Clark. At the same time, Sophie Cunningham kept making one fast-break three-pointer after another, frustrating the Aces bench with every shot. This was not just a loss. It was a complete and powerful takedown of a dynasty that had clearly reached the end of its time. But instead of taking responsibility, and instead of admitting that the new generation had moved ahead of her, Aya Wilson chose to start one of the most embarrassing and emotional public image campaigns ever seen in professional sports. Right after the big loss, sources said that Wilson had a huge physical meltdown inside the Aces locker room, yelling at the coaching staff, kicking equipment, and blaming everyone except herself for the historic embarrassment. But things became even worse. During the post-game press conference, Aya Wilson looked shaken, emotional, and defensive as she tried to make herself look like the victim. She went on a long passive-aggressive speech and said shocking things about Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Wilson strongly suggested that the league's media, the fans, and the referees were unfair, desperately trying to say that she was being treated unfairly and pushed aside because of the new wave of popularity.
About black and white? That's interesting. because over here, what'd you say?
Disrespected.
I feel like that's like the unwritten Hooper rule. So no, I was laughing. I was like, it's never that deep. It's never that deep. But
it's never that deep. But again, talking out both sides of our mouth over here. When asked about the race element in Clark's popularity, people think that we're crazy saying that race has a part to do with why the WNBA players treat Caitlin Clark how they treat her. People will look at you dead in your face if you think race has a part to do with why WNBA players treat Caitlin Clark a certain way. People will look at you dead in your eyes and say, "No, it's not. It's not true. That's not reality. You're making things up. You're delusional. You're a conspiracy theorist." Meanwhile, here it is, plain as day, in your face, a WNBA player saying it to you. Quote, "It really is because you can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. They don't want to see it as marketable, so it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
She stood in front of the microphones and tried to take away from the Indiana Fever's historic success, saying that they were winning because of hype instead of real skill. But this desperate attempt to make herself look like the victim went badly wrong. It quickly caused a huge wave of public criticism that seriously damaged her reputation as a leader. The truth that many people believe the mainstream media is trying to hide is that Aya Wilson's image as an untouchable, multi-time MVP has now been exposed as something that was strongly protected by the system. For years, the league has built a protective shield around Wilson, making sure she received favorable calls from officials, constant positive media attention, and very little criticism for her attitude on the court. But when she faced the tough, physical, and direct style of the Indiana Fever, that protective shield completely fell apart.
On the defensive end, we kind of had some gaps where we probably thought one thing, two people thought one thing, the other three probably thought another. And obviously you can't have that. And when you lack communication, you kind of lose sight of the shooters, you lose sight of what's going on in front of you. So obviously when we go back and we look at the run that they made, I think the biggest thing is just communicating on defense. And once again, that's what I was saying, is paying attention, and the attention to little details can really make or break you in these situations. So wish we could take it back, but we can't. So we're just gonna continue to push through. Like, we know we'll be better next time.
Asia or Dana even, the three-point shooting. Indiana, I believe, took 30. And what do you think is the best way to defend a team that takes so many and that can make so many? Do you think that the defenses need to be better on that, or that maybe more three-point shooting on your guys' end could sort of balance that out?
Honestly, I think as long as we do better one-on-one, I feel like they broke us down one-on-one, so it collapsed the defense. It made us help. It made us overhelp, and sometimes they were just getting the one more or the extra pass and just making catch and shoot threes. That's a lovely thing to do, just shoot, catch, and shoot threes. So I feel like if we can clamp down on our one-on-one defense better, then we can eliminate a lot of those.
Two for you, Asia, if that's okay. One, where'd you get your shirt?
I don't know, my stylist got it for me. It's SRBC, protecting my peace, because that's what I'm gonna do.
Amen.
Hello, I hope everyone does that.
And less about tonight, more so just a broader question about the Fever matchup. It feels like this is the team that you don't get to the rim as often against. That's one point of view. How much of that is in these defense? How much of that is you looking for different shots? Like, how you kind of assess that?
I think tonight, I was not happy. I was probably happy. Out of 23 shots I took, I was probably happy with 2 of them. But I think it's honestly just the spacing of it. I think they made us play one-on-one basketball, and we're not one-on-one players. Like, yes, we're capable of getting that job done, but that's never been our system. That's never been who we are. And sometimes it just kind of puts you in a pickle sometimes, because you feel like, obviously, with matchup in front of you, you can take it on. I feel like each and every last one of us would be like, okay, cool. But that's just not our system. That's not what we do. So I don't necessarily, I guess I'll say that's their defense is making us play one-on-one, but at the same time I feel like that's a lot on us. We were just very stagnant. I think we helped their defense out by being stagnant. So I think next time when we go back and we look at it, and particularly for myself, we got to get down to the 30
Liv Austin, bro.
And then once we kind of break that down, I think I'm going to always.
Caitlin Clark's ability to completely break down Wilson's defense made it seem that the MVP could not adjust when her physical strengths were matched by smarter basketball decisions. Sophie Cunningham's nonstop trash talk and strong physical play seemed to hurt Wilson's confidence, making it look like she lost her composure as soon as things stopped going her way. The old story is now over. Many fans now believe that the league's biggest star cannot succeed on her own when facing a strong team that earned its success naturally. Many people now see this as the end of the old WNBA order. The time of protected dynasties, heavily promoted MVPs, and trying to play the victim is being replaced by the growing popularity and strong competition brought by Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Aya Wilson's career and legacy have now reached a major turning point. She can either accept the loss and adjust her game, or keep watching her reputation suffer if she continues to react with emotional outbursts behind the scenes.
I mean, these are A'ja Wilson's own words here. These are A'ja Wilson's own words here. And all of this has been confirmed by Kelsey Plum. Remember Kelsey Plum?
I really think the expectations of being a number one pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't know. Me, happy-go-lucky, walking into the locker room like, hey, like, I didn't know.
Want to take her head off. And she's saying, walking in her own locker room. What? She's not talking about opposing teams' locker room. You don't walk into opposing teams' locker rooms. She's talking about her own locker room. She'd walk into her own locker room like, what up, new teammates? And they look at her and be like, Come on. And now something that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum both have in common, they're both white. And unlike Paige, straight. Kelsey Plum, she had some hype coming in. I remember Kelsey Plum at Washington. I remember her. I wasn't invested, but I remember her. They said the same thing about Sabrina. Sabrina came into the WNBA. She turned her Twitter off. She got guarded. Sabrina went through a lot of injuries. Now, I'm not going to say that's attributed to the physicality, but I will attribute to what she had to deal with online as to, you're not allowed here. You're not wanted here. We don't need you here. Black privilege to admit to open racism and nothing is done about it. I guarantee you if someone did that to her, she'd be crying to the referees, Kathy, WNBA, PA, and anybody would listen to get being a victim. It always feels like it's about color with some. Admitting their racism and it's okay because they've always done. Yeah, rules for thee and not for me. A'ja Wilson, she'll be a victim in one breath. And then in that same exact breath, by the time her sentence is finished, she'll turn around and become the...
Will the league's front office step in to protect their biggest star from more embarrassment, or will they let Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham keep beating every team that stands in their way? One thing is certain. The balance of power has changed, and the old group is no longer able to stop it. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications right now because this WNBA battle has reached its biggest moment, and you do not want to miss what happens next.